Hey guys, Willie Mayette from JAZZEDGE. I want to welcome you to Jazz Piano Daily. Jazz Piano Daily, no BS daily piano lessons in jazz and other styles. If you want to get these lessons, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Today we are talking about the 2-5-1 progression. Super important progression, and I'm also going to cover diatonic seventh chords in today's lesson. So big lesson, bear with me. If you are interested in getting the sheet music for this lesson, just go ahead back to jazzpianodaily.com. Let's take a look at the sheet music right now. All right, so first of all, in order to do our 2-5-1 progression, we have to understand, first of all, well, what is 2 and what is 5 and what is 1, all right? So all of this comes off of our major scale. So the first thing you have to know is you got to know your major scale, right? So your major scale is pretty simple. Start on any note. I'm going to play a C major scale. I start on a note, I go up a whole step, then I go up a half, a whole, and finally a half. Now, if that's confusing for you, I have a whole course called Piano Essentials. Take a look at that course. It explains all of these scales, all the notes, all the fingering, all the technique, all right? So if you need help with that, okay? All right, so that's my C major scale. Now, what I do is I number the notes in my C major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And this is an 8. It's the same thing as 1, so we just call it 1 again, rather than saying that it's 8, all right? And what we're doing now is we are creating chords using notes only from the scale. That's the important part. So you will notice in all of these chords, there are no black notes in these chords. Why? Because the C major scale does not have any black notes in it, right? It's all white notes in this scale. So we go up and we're making chords just utilizing notes from that scale. Let's say we move to, say, the key of F, all right? Well, now we have one black note in there because the key of F has one black note in it, a B flat. So those are my diatonic seventh chords. Now, what we got to figure out, though, is what is this right here? All of this stuff. Now, some of you probably know this, some of you might not know this, so let's cover it. These are called Roman numerals, right up at the top here. So the I, the capital I, that stands for 1. The lowercase 2 i's, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then back to 1, just like we did at the beginning. Now, the lowercase letters here, or the lowercase numbers rather, right? Well, I guess they're letters too, right? So these lowercase, those are all minor or some type of minor, right? So in this case, this is a minor 7 flat 5, whereas these three are all just regular minor chords, okay? So the lowercase signifies minor. The uppercase, right, signifies a major or some kind of major derivative. So like this is a dominant chord here, but the first 3 notes of that dominant chord are a major triad, all right? So it's still considered a major sound of sorts, right? So anyway, those uppercase are a major sound, starting with the triad, okay? So we have 1 major seventh, 2 minor seventh, 3 minor seventh, 4 major seventh, 5 dominant seventh, 6 minor 7, 7 minor 7, flat 5, and end to 1. Now, these Roman numerals help us because we can start to put together progressions. So let's say that we wanted a progression, and rather than writing them in Roman numerals, I'll just do them in regular. It's easier for me to be able to write it on the screen. Let's say we're going to go 3, 6, 4, 5, all right? So we can go and then end on 1, okay? So there's a progression. And I know when I see that it says 3, 6, 4, 5, and then let me just put in my 1 here at the end, okay? When I see that it says 3, 6, 4, 5, 1, I know the 3 chord is minor. I know the 6 chord is minor. I know the 4 chord is major. The 5 is a dominant, and the 1 is major. Okay? I know that because this pattern here is the same in every single key. Now, Maybe you're bored hearing me talk right now, and you're like, why do I really have to learn all this stuff? All right, don't, okay? But I will tell you that this is super important. So hang with me a little bit more while I explain to you the 2-5 progression, all right? Super, super important if you're interested in learning jazz piano or any kind of piano for that matter. All right, so now, if we take a look, you see here we have 2, 5, 1, right? So 2 is the D minor 7th, the 5 is G7, and then 1 is C major 7th. Okay? All right, so that makes sense based on what we had right up here, right? There's 2, okay? There's 2, there's 5, and there's 1, right? Makes perfect sense. 2 chord, 5 chord, 1 chord. Then we come over here, and this all gets kind of messes everything up. Now we have F minor 7th to B flat 7, and it says 2-5 there as well. Okay, that's because this 2-5 is it's a pattern, right? You see how you have the minor chord, and the minor chord goes up a fourth to the dominant, and then the dominant goes up a fourth to the major chord. Well, the same thing is happening here. Minor chord going up a fourth to this dominant chord. Now, what happens in this 2-5-1 progression is that we do not have to stay in the same key. That's really critical. If we had to stay in the same key, then that means we could only use those 7 diatonic chords, right? So we can move into other keys as well. So then we say, wait a second, if we can move into other keys, then what is F minor 7, B flat 7? Just focus your attention right here. I will tell you that it is not the key of C. It is not the key of C. This is the key of C right here. The D minor, the G7 to the C. That's the key of C. So now the question is, what is this right here? Well, it's simple in a way, right? Just start with the 2 chord. You know that the 2 chord is going to be what? The D, the 2 chord in the key of C, is up a whole step from C. So obviously, we can kind of use some reverse logic, and we could say if the 2 chord is up a whole step from C, right? Now, if we already have the 2 chord, well, now we go down a whole step, and then that's how we could find the 1 chord, right? So if this 2 chord is F, what is down a whole step? E, right? That's down a whole step. Did I get you on that? No, it's not E, because E is a half step. It is E flat. So E flat would be the 1 chord, F is the 2 chord, B flat is the 5 chord. And that is all found within your E flat major scale. And if you take a look at that F minor 7 chord to the B flat 7 chord, you will notice that all of those notes are found in this E flat major scale. Okay? So now the next question then becomes, wait a second, how is this going there? Okay? Well, I wanted to put this in because, and this is an advanced thing, I'm not going to lie to you, right? I don't want you to like really worry too much about the theory. Just kind of like let this whole idea of the 2-5-1 progression wash over you. Also let the idea that, okay, I can have other 2-5 progressions within the key, all right? So you see here, we are really moving to the key of E flat, right? Right there. And then right here, we move back to the key of C. So we start in the key of C, and this is what we do. We put the letter in a colon, then we move to the key of E flat, then we move back to the key of C. So this is an important thing to note right here, is that you can have these 2-5 progressions baked within something that says all key of C, right? No sharps, no flats. So this is the key of C. But wait a second, we could still have these 2-5 progressions that are outside of the key. Really, really important. Now, this progression right here is called a backdoor 2-5, right? It goes down to the flat 7th, which is B flat, and then this resolves up to that C major, okay? So we get this kind of sound. Right? You've heard that sound before, right? know that sound, right? You've heard that in popular music before. That's the backdoor 2-5. So what your marching orders are right now is just take a look at this. You want to commit this to memory. Now, I will tell you this, because I get a lot of students that ask me, like, what do I need to do if I want to go to music college or I want to be a professional? Like, what do I do? You got to know this. Right? You absolutely have to know this. If you're going to go to music college, you absolutely have to know this. Now, let's just say you're just, hey, look, Willie, I'm just playing for my own enjoyment. Why do I need to go through this? Because this gives you the structure to be able to analyze songs. And then when you analyze a song, then it helps you to be able to remember it. It also gives you the ingredients needed for creating your own compositions, right? You could create your own patterns here. So again, we could say, let's go 1, then let's do 4, then let's do 6, then let's do 2, and why don't we just walk it out? 3, 4, 5, and then back to 1. All right, let's try that pattern. Six, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I could do things like, 6, right? And I could do this alternate bass, right? I'm like descending the bass down to the 4, 2, 5, So you could have a lot of fun coming up with all different types of chord progressions, and you could start writing your own music, okay? So this is the raw material that you need to understand that process. So really, get this down, try and learn that diatonic 7th chord, and then also put in this time of really trying to understand this 2-5-1 progression. The backdoor 2-5, like I said, this is just a little advanced thing that I put in for you guys so you could kind of hear that sound and understand that you could have 2-5 progressions, within a particular key. It doesn't have to always be in, the 2-5 from the key. You could have 2-5 progressions that are outside the key, right? But this is really what you want to focus on. This stuff right here, and then that diatonic 7th chords. Like I said, if you're interested in getting the sheet music, just go back to jazzpianodaily.com, put in your name and email address there. Don't worry, you're not going to get spammed, you're not going to get charged, okay? That's simple. You have my guarantee on that. I will send you emails. You can take yourself off of the email list at any time. You will not be charged for the lessons. You have complete access to the lessons. I'm doing that because I want to give back to the piano community, and I also want to really kind of prepare you if you decide to study with me at Jazz Edge. Really make sure that you have a lot of these foundationals down before you start studying. All right? Do me a favor. It would really help me out a lot if you guys would please subscribe to the channel. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Please also make sure you turn on the notifications. That way you know when I come out with new stuff, and be sure to like the video. All of that stuff helps. If you have questions or you have something you'd like me to cover, just go ahead and leave it in the comment area below. And I want to thank you guys very much for joining me in this Jazz Piano Daily lesson. I'll see you tomorrow.